people, hands up! Black 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 people.
Hi, my name is Steve McQueen. I'm the creative director of Small Axe.
Hello, my name is Sean Parks and I play Frank Richlow in Mangrove.
The scene is the heart of the film. It's about people who were frequenting the Mangrove, demonstrating because of police constant harassment. The Mangrove restaurant, owned by Frank Richlow, became the front line for black resistance in the UK in the late 60s. Because of the constant harassment and the raids, the community put it upon themselves to demonstrate about the constant intimidation on the Mangrove and the people of the Mangrove.
I think things like Mangrove were very, very helpful because I say I've had some very interesting chats with cats from around the world that I hung the phone up thinking, wow, that's amazing. And that's what TV and media can do.
It's about the joy of writing about the people and how they sort of made the banners, how people congregated, how festive it was in the beginning, and then going on the march and hearing the chants. But of course, at a certain point, the demonstration turns. And it turns because of the confrontation of the police. You have this sort of multicolored sort of congregation. And then you have another form of group, which is the sort of more regimented, and it's the police, all in black. And the sound, it's almost like military precision. The music of that time was our score, and the music of that time was very relevant to that period. And when I needed the score was at a tension, a moment of building tension, like Hands Off Black People. That was very interesting because, again, it was like boom, 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 boom.
Hands up! Black people!
We went into high tones when things got into the more tense and more combative moments. It was exciting to do it because we were making it as we saw the picture. And Mika was amazing, of course. So that is just really kind of how do you build that tension, but also how do you sort of get to a situation where it does become this sort of this sort of friction. It was a visible friction, as it was a sonic friction. One crowd which is much more fluid, organic, the other one which is much more formal. There is the clash. One obviously emphasizes a certain kind of behavior, and the other one emphasizes another kind of freedom as such. Finding the right location was hard. We looked around, we found a place in South London. It was kind of interesting because it was actually an old police station which was disused. In some ways it became a real sort of live set because where we started our march, we ended our march as such. So it was really kind of a wonderful, fluid situations. You could go from A to B. We did it all in one day. All of that shoot was done in one day. We only had sort of £19 million to do everything. So that was it. It was on that day or not.
That day was punctuated by rain. You can't have one bit of the march where it's not raining and then the other bit of the march where it's raining and then cut between the two because it's never going to work out. It was about as organized as it could be with that many people. It was cold.
It got me hyped. It got our participants hyped. So that was amazing to be immersed in the crowd and to sort of have a talk with the policemen and have a talk at the demonstrators. It was a case of being real and in the moment.
It needed to be real. It needed to look real as you could make it, you know? It's not like we had lots of chances to rehearse. When you do most scenes, but especially scenes in big groups, in large groups, you need everyone to be involved. You need everyone to care.
Talking to Shabia and the whole other of handheld camera in the crowd, moving, jostling, and being pushed, reframing. You get that sense of the panic and of the immediacy. You turn the camera this way, turn the camera this way. You're in there, you're moving, and you don't know, you hear something, then you see it. So when you've got that vantage point, the audience feel that they're a member of the demonstrators, and then they're being directly spoken to. And then on the opposite side of that, when you get into the courtroom, it's extremely formal. This is a British courtroom, so it's almost like, so then you have the up, the down, the left, the right. It's a very geometric. You stand up, yes, my lord. You sit down, again, you bow. There's a real ritual, as you will. What I loved about, again, with the courtroom scene is that how the gallery in the court became a congregation, and how we as black people turn that space of law into a space of righteousness. It was just curtailed, and that could have only happened because of the previous scene before of the march.
The whole shoot was a state of preparation, literally from morning to evening. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, it was preparation. Some people might call it meditation.
On count one, the charge of riot, how do you find the first defendant, Mr. Critchlow?
Not guilty.
I had already plotted my way through, as in the best outcomes of any scene. Like, what are the best outcomes to tell the story? You need to see it hurts. It's all well and good people having a debate and arguing about racism and arguing about harassment and arguing about all of these things and flinging mud at the other side. It's all well and good doing that. But I knew that you really needed to see that there's an effect. It's not water off a duck's back.
Right now, at this moment, as I speak, there is a motion that possibly will be passed in Parliament to sort of reduce marches. To what Anthea Jones-LeCointe and the other people of the Mangrove were fighting for is coming under direct challenges today. It's right from anyone who has the want and the will to demonstrate. It's shocking to sit with you here today in 2021. More than likely, this will be put into law that demonstrations will be curtailed. So this scene is actually more relevant than it's ever been, because it's about our civil liberties and how it's being pressed by, the government in UK and the powers that be. So this makes the scene even more vital than ever.